Welcome. This is like winning like we've never seen before. This is the winningest. Like you're gonna get so tired of winning. I have to cough to start the live stream. Of course, that's what happens when you're live. You never know when you're gonna cough. Come on in, everybody. It is so amazing to see you. Let me know where you're joining me from. We've got some unbelievable. I'm gonna drink some of my Diet Coke. Hold on, give me a second. You guys don't know this about me, but that's probably my only vice is Diet Coke, if you could call it a vice. I can't live without Diet Coke. So I'm a lot like President Trump, who's got the Diet Coke button. Now that's really going to make me cough. Come on in, guys. We've got some historic news, live breaking news that just happened right now. But I'm going to talk to you guys tonight about the most historic, amazing tax breaks, the largest tax breaks ever. He just announced today, as well as a whole slew of amazing top stories. It's great to see you guys. I love seeing you guys prime time live, Nez Nation live. It's so great to see you guys. So here, I want to just share this right off the bat because this is pretty remarkable right here. President Trump has just recently signed an executive order, okay, requiring an audit of every NGO which relies on federal funding per Reuters. Biden gave billions, not millions, billions with a B to these NGOs to facilitate an invasion of our country, essentially, just like the Red Cross, who provided literal maps to help illegals get to the Mexico border. And now justice is coming. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, this is exactly what they did. So the Red Cross literally provided these maps right here, literally provided these maps to help terrorists and illegals. I mean, the corruption is it's just choking. We are choked as a country with corruption. I said this in my previous video. It's like President Trump and his amazing cabinet and his amazing administration. This is spring cleaning with a capital S, just a gigantic broom sweeping the nation, getting rid of all the smut, the dirt, the grime, the crime, the corruption, the corrosiveness, the parasites, the disease, the bacteria. And we are so back. It is so good to see you guys. Come on in, come on in. So that is brand new. Again, just really quickly, President Trump signing an executive order. I told you, didn't I tell you guys, Nez Nation? I said prosperity is soon going to come for all of us. I told you that we're going to see prosperity like we've never seen before. It's happening. Your wallets are going to be so fat. You're going to be, you're not going to have enough room in your garage with all the junk that you're going to go buy because your wallets are just going to keep getting fatter and fatter and fatter. Prosperity is here. You know, I want to say this really quickly because this was really crazy to me. I have to say this. You remember when President Trump would say, we had so much fun. We have the most fun here at Nez Nation. I love you guys. Remember when we'd go live during his rallies and he would say, it's going to happen. We're headed toward the golden age, and it's going to happen, quite frankly, quickly, very quickly. We're going to make America great again, and it's going to happen very quickly. You know, I got to be honest with you. Excuse me. I got to be honest with you. When he said that, I was like, okay, yeah, everybody says quickly, whatever, it'll probably take, it's going to take him at least. He's getting back in the saddle. He's going to get used to it. He's had an incredibly tough, rigorous campaign. The guy was on the road every single day for like 90 days. How many days straight was he on the road? Somebody let me know in the comments. He says quickly. Everybody says that. It's going to take at least 6 months to a year for anything to really. This guy is an absolute machine, inflamed with providence, the divine one, inflamed with a purpose like we've never seen before. The guy has done more in 2 weeks than any president in the history of the country. He had a national prayer event today, which was beautiful. I might share some clips from that. But my God, what he has done, not just with Doge and USAID, which I shared multiple videos talking about, the endless corruption and the fact that the Hippocrats, aka the Democrats, are fighting, you know, fang, claw, tooth, and nail, desperately inciting riots, using inflammatory language, creating mass hypnosis and mass hysteria. The guy had 2 assassination attempts on him. And you guys, instead of lowering the temperature, instead of bringing the country together, you're doing the exact same thing, except even more. You're even dialing it up even higher into the red zone. All the stuff that caused you guys to lose in 2024. Somebody make it make sense. Is it the definition of insanity? Keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results? Somebody please. Jim Barron, thank you so much. We got the best mods in the business. I want to give a big shout out. Laura Tilford, Jim Barron, Robbie Reeder, Howie, MG, Dashhound. We got the greatest mods in the business. I know I'm missing a lot of people. I love you all. I love my mods. They are the absolute best. I've had so many channels tell me the same things. This guy has been working nonstop. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to play for you. Aren't you excited about our new White House press secretary, by the way? Tell me you're not excited about our amazing press secretary, Caroline Levitt. Is it Levitt or Levitt? Type a 1 if it's Levitt. Type a 2 if it's Levitt. I don't even know how you pronounce that, but I want to give her respect. Listen to this, President Trump. This is the largest, most ginormous, yes, ginormous is a word, tax cut in the history of America. Listen to this, and I'm going to also break it down. Watch this.
So these are the tax priorities of the Trump administration that the president has laid out for members in that meeting today. No tax on tips, which is obviously a very public campaign promise that the president made. No tax on seniors' Social Security. No tax on overtime pay. Renewing President Trump's 2017 middle-class tax cuts. Again, these are the president's priorities. Adjusting the SALT cap. Eliminate all the special tax breaks for billionaire sports team owners. Close the carried interest tax deduction loophole. Tax cuts for Made in America products. This will be the largest tax cut in history for middle-class working Americans. The president is committed to working with Congress to get this done.
The winning can't stop. Promises made, promises kept. The man is just an absolute machine. The man is just an absolute chosen one. He was born for this. I was talking to somebody the other day, and I didn't really want to believe it, or I didn't really, because I do believe and this will probably get me deplatformed. So if you're watching this on the replay, let me know if you're still here. Just type a here in the comments. I believe emphatically that the 2020 election was 100% stolen from President Trump. You cannot convince me in 100 quintillion, billion, trillion, zillion, gazillion years, you cannot convince me. Thank you for the here's. You cannot convince me that Joe Biden got not only 81 million votes over President Trump, but the fact that Obama in 2008 got almost 20 million less. I think he got 65 or something. In 2008, Obama, the chosen one, the Black Jesus, as they call him, of the Democrat Party. You're going to look me in the eye and tell me that Joe Blow Biden, sleepy Joe, the guy hasn't done a thing in 56 years. Joe, don't you ever use the word smart with me. Quite frankly, probably you're the dumbest guy that's ever held this office, all right? I don't want to hear it. That's why I watch Professor Nez, because he's the greatest. of all time. He tells the truth, quite frankly, probably the only podcaster that I listen to with Melania, because he's not a nasty person like Tren de Aragua. Thank you, Mr. President. I love you. There is no way in a billion years you can convince me that Sleepy Joe, vegetable in chief Joe Biden, got 20 million more votes than Barack Obama and got 81 legitimate votes, 81 million legitimate votes. Impossible. That election was stolen. But I was talking to somebody and they made some sense to me. And they said, you know what, Nez, I think we were lucky that he didn't win in 2020. We're lucky that they took it away from him because everything that happened, this is why God is so great. Everything that happened is prologue to this. Everything that he went through, all that they put him through. They literally, it's kind of like if you've ever read the book of Job, it's the quintessential kind of tests, kind of testing your veracity, your resilience, your commitment, your faith. And Trump was tested. I mean, the guy, they did everything they could. They tried to smear him, discredit him, defame him, deride him, bankrupt him, imprison him, assassinate him. They tried to throw everything against the kitchen sink, and the kitchen sink threw everything they could against the wall to see what would stick. And we, the American people, this is the second American Revolution in digital form. This is the second American Revolution. And President Trump is like our George Washington. I'm dead serious when I say that. I think at this point, forget Mount Rushmore. He deserves his own mountain. The pace, the methodology, the commitment, the guy hasn't slept a wink in God knows how many months. He's literally every single day signing about 100 new executive orders. Every single day, he is absolutely upholding the promises that he made to the American public during the election cycle. He's doing everything that we asked and then some. The man is governed by providence. The man has a divine purpose. I believe he's on a mission from God. I truly believe it. Nez, how do you know that? Because I believe I'm on a mission from God. I know what that feels like. I know what it feels like to have that spirit coursing through your veins like locomotives in your chest. That's how I feel. Because I'm sick and tired of seeing my country treated like leftover garbage. And that is what was happening 12 of the last 16 years of our glorious republic. If you're with me, type an amen in the comments down below. No tax on tips. Holy mackerel. Is this phenomenal or is this phenomenal? No tax on tips. We've got no tax. Okay. Hold on a second. We've got no tax on seniors' no tax on Social Security. How amazing is that? Okay. No tax on Social Security. No tax on overtime pay. How crazy is that? Incentivizing the American worker. No tax on overtime pay. Renewing all of the 2017 Trump tax cuts that enlivened Americans, that gave prosperity, showered the American heartland with prosperity. Adjusting the SALT cap, eliminating special tax breaks for billionaire sports team owners. You know what? I have something to say about this. I have something very, very important to say about this. And I think Dave Ramsey has mentioned this before, that, there's a certain percentage, it's like less than 4-5% of billionaires got their money through inheritance, or let's just say they got the silver spoon in the mouth. Over 90% of billionaires, like Howard Schultz's famous speech against those ridiculous bureaucratic, heartless hypocrites, they earned every penny. They worked their ass off. Just like I work my ass off for every single penny. Why am I paying for a transgender play in Peru? Why is my taxpayer dollars going towards a DEI comic book in Chile? when we've got people in North Carolina and Los Angeles without a pot to piss in. Shame on you. Shame on you, you hypocrites. Imagine if they would have just dedicated an ounce of all that energy. They're creating and orchestrating these protests and riots in front of the Capitol, in front of the Doge offices, trying to say, hey, we're going to fight. This is a war. Shut the city down. All this garbage. You know what I'm saying. Most billionaires earned their money. They worked their butt off. Okay. And then more. But wait, there's more. So closing the carried interest loophole, which is absolutely huge. And then the big one. I mean, no overtime pay, no tax on tips is amazing. Renewing the 2017 tax cuts is amazing. Closing the carried interest loophole. But tax cuts for made in America products, reinvesting in our country, not giving all our money to China. We're not giving all our money to China. That, my fellow Americans, is absolutely phenomenal. This is the largest tax cut in history. It is absolutely phenomenal. We've never seen any, and this is just the beginning. This is only the first couple of weeks of him taking office. Again, she calls it, I quote, this will be the largest tax cut in history for middle class working Americans. How do you not love this man? How are you not excited by all of this winning? How are you not excited about this? I don't know about you, but I am. I can't wait to prosper again. I can't wait to have more money in my pocket. And then this is just, I have to share this because this is just absolutely phenomenal. I don't know how many of you guys, I can't wait to hear your comments on everything that we just talked about with these major, absolutely phenomenal tax cuts. But I don't know if you know this or not, but the NCAA, after Trump literally made it official in one of the most record-breaking, groundbreaking moments in American history. Let me first talk about this. These amazing photos of President Trump, and I'll probably share a few clips too, signing the executive order, finally bringing sanity back to the United States of America and eliminating men from women's sports. I don't know about you, but what happened during the Olympics this past summer, where that guy literally pummeled women and got awarded for it, I think was the ultra low point in American history. One of the worst moments I think I've ever seen in our society. One of the lowest, not even American history, one of the lowest points in our society. I've never seen anything quite like that. It was so obvious, right? It was so obvious that this guy was just beating the crap out of women. That's what he was doing. He was just beating the crap out of women and getting away with it. Well, this is just absolutely amazing. The NCAA announces this is how fast things are shaping. This is how fast society is ready to get back to sanity. The NCAA announces transgender student athlete participation policy change. Look at the fine print. This is so phenomenal. New policy limits. Today, the NCAA announced the Board of Governors voted to update the association's participation policy for transgender student athletes following the Trump administration's executive order. The new policy limits competition in women's sports to student athletes assigned female at birth only. Let me repeat that. The new policy limits competition in women's sports to student athletes assigned to female at birth only. No more men beating up on women. It's over. It's all over. Nice try. See you later. Hasta la pasta. See ya. Wouldn't want to be ya. And I thought it would be cool to kind of share just a couple of clips from this amazing. I just think it's just so amazing. It was so beautiful to watch this amazing presentation. And I just want to share a few, if I may, just a few awesome clips. Check this out. This is, I mean, he even said it in his speech. This shouldn't even have had to have been a big deal. I mean, this shouldn't have even happened. It's absolutely insane and so nonsensical that this even needed to happen. Check this out.
In a few moments, I'll sign a historic executive order to ban men from competing in women's sports. It's about time. Under the Trump administration, we will defend the proud tradition of female athletes, and we will not allow men to beat up, injure, and cheat our women and our girls. From now on, women's sports will be only for women.
As it should be. As it should be. And this is just another sign of the Democrats are losing their base. I mean, they're not even, I don't even know how you can call them Democrats. I mean, they're just unrecognizable. But literally, this is Martina Navratilova. And I posted this earlier on the community tab on YouTube as well as on X. Everybody follow me on X. I know my awesome, amazing mods are sharing links, but just open your X app and just type in Professor Nez and you'll see me. I have a verified check mark, et cetera, over 20,000 followers. I think there's a bunch of impersonators, but I'm the only one that has the @ sign at Professor Nez. Even Martina Navratilova, who is a tennis legend, okay, even she was like, I hate that the Democrats totally failed women and girls on this very clear issue of women's sports being for females only. Now, if you don't know who Martina Navratilova is, I know a lot of you guys aren't as old as I am. You youngins out there, you have no idea you're not, who that is. I mean, she's literally the, she was the kind of Michael Jordan of female tennis for a very, very long time. She's got a ton of Grand Slams. She's won Grand Slams. I think she's the most female Wimbledon singles champion, but she has, I know Steffi Graf and Margaret Court have overall, I think, the most Grand Slams, or she might be tied with Chrissy Everett. I can't remember. But she also won a lot of Grand Slams in doubles as well. And then to top it all off, so the NCAA reacted to this immediately, which is fantastic. Big shout out to Riley Gaines and all the amazing people who have worked so hard to get this done. But here's another clip I'd like to share with you of, so Martina Navratilova is also a lesbian too. And so for her to say this about her own party, we're starting to hear more and more like lifelong Democrats. I know there's a guy going viral right now who I think Ronnie from Rumble. Great to see you, Ronnie from Rumble, holding down the fort on Rumble. We are on Rumble as well. Follow me there. This guy's gone viral saying he's never voting Democrat. I mean, this is every day there's a new Democrat coming out and essentially saying, I'm not ever voting for these guys again. But check out this clip right here of President Trump saying we're putting every school on notice. This is so phenomenally powerful. And I just absolutely have to share this with you because, our president's such a badass. And I just absolutely love him. Check this out. This is President Trump, who essentially is saying we're putting all you guys on notice. Check this out.
With my action this afternoon, we're putting every school receiving taxpayer dollars on notice that if you let men take over women's sports teams or invade your locker rooms, you will be investigated for violations of Title IX and risk your federal funding. There will be no federal funding. So this will effectively end the attack on female athletes at public K-12 schools and virtually all U.S. colleges and universities.
I absolutely love it. We are winning like we've never won before. Our daughters and our granddaughters from the future are thanking us, studying the lunacy that President Trump has saved us from, the insanity that our president has thwarted. It's pure insanity. I mean, it's pure nuts. Look, we live in a free country. I don't care what you do in the privacy of your own home. I don't care if you identify as a freaking doorknob. I don't care if you want to play dress up and play house and play schoolgirl meets whatever you want to do, whatever freaky deaky thing you want to do, as long as it's, legal. I don't care. It's a free country. But you actually invading our values, principles, institutions, our schools with this nutbaggery. No, enough is enough. We're done. I know your boy Obama promised you. I know your girl Kamala promised you, but it's all over. Making America sane again. We are so back. We are so back. By the way, if you're interested, okay, in getting this 100% made in the USA, I don't have to pay taxes on any products made in the USA. Neither do you. If you're interested in getting your one of a kind original made in the USA merch, we have so many amazing designs. We've got hats, hoodies, shirts, you name it. Link is in the pinned comment, also in the description and show notes down below. Go check that out. So we're winning like we've never won before. And a huge historic tax cut. This is the biggest, largest tax cut. So if you're just joining us, I want to just double down on this and just say one more time what these amazing, glorious tax cuts entail. So we have no tax on tips, no tax on seniors' Social Security, which is absolutely phenomenal. We have. Oh, by the way, I got to share this too because this is just insane as well. No tax on overtime pay. Renewing the 2017 Trump tax cuts, adjusting the SALT cap, eliminating special tax breaks for billionaire sports team owners, closing the carried interest loophole, and then a huge one right here, tax cuts for made in America projects, not just products, projects. That, my fellow Americans, is the largest, most historic tax cut I've seen a president engage in I don't know how long, maybe my entire life. Okay. And I'm almost 50. This is a significant tax relief for the middle class. And again, it's aiming to be the largest tax cut in history. And I think it's just unbelievable, this guy's work ethic. He is an absolute machine. He's cutting waste. Doge is doing an amazing job. Don't listen to the drama. Don't listen to all the craziness of the hypocrites. We are winning like we've never won before. We're returning to sanity. We're returning to prosperity. We're returning to America first values and principles. And it just keeps getting better and better and better. So Politico, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but I think this is really interesting. And I want to kind of share this. And if you could see the highlighted part right here. More, by the way, you guys, we haven't even gotten close. We haven't even gotten close to even getting down dirty deep into the muck. We've literally only scratched the surface when it comes to investigating all the fraud, all the unbelievable, egregious waste that our swamp vermin government before Trump has engaged in with our taxpayer dollars. I dug this up through some research and I want to share this with you. And look at who the party is, that the awarded party. The Department of Health and Human Services. Does that ring a bell? The Department of Health and Human Services, the National Institute of Health, this is the same entity that claims to be so crystal clean, on the up and up, the morality gods. They, claim to be righteous, etc. And when I say righteous, they're exhibiting all sorts of righteous indignation about going after RFK Jr. and denying him the position and the confirmation. Well, these same hypocrites awarded the University of North Carolina almost $8 million, almost $8 million of our money. For what? This is for researching flavored tobacco products and e-cigarettes, seeking to understand, if you look at the highlighted portion, the impact of regulations and communication campaigns on those disadvantaged by tobacco, including Black, lower socioeconomic status, lesbian, gay, or bisexual populations. Why is it that everything that we keep uncovering, these DEI comic books, a transgender opera in Chile or Peru or wherever, why does it always revolve around the same exact thing? Somebody make this make sense to me, because it doesn't make an ounce of sense to me. Am I crazy? Am I nuts? Does that seem to you? Let me ask you a serious question. Does that seem to you like a viable use of our hard-earned blood, sweat, and tears, our tax dollars? Let me know in the comments. Give me a Y or an N. A Y for yes, obviously, and an N for no. Do you think this is a good use of our money? Yes or no? I'm gonna act like one of those hypocrites. It's a yes or no question. That pencil dick Schiff. It's a yes or no question. You can't even answer that. It's a yes or no question, Mr. Da da da. It's a yes or no question, Mr. Patel. It's a yes or no question. Those mooks. So I'm going to ask you guys a yes or no question. I'm seeing a lot of N's. Jim Barron says N. MG Mountain Goddess in the house. Trump Garbage. I love your name. Congratulations on being a member. And look at Ronnie. Ronnie gives 5 N's. Yes, I'm seeing a lot of N's. Patty Holiday, no. Scott H, no. How? I mean, what are we supposed to be? I mean, is this a joke? You can't be serious. And then Politico, this is what I don't know if you guys saw this. I wanted to share this with you. Politico tried to explain themselves for getting all of our taxpayer dollars, which is a radical left-wing nutbag publication journal, which was involved and participated in this PR campaign of social engineering. I talked about USAID in multiple videos if you haven't seen those. But Politico put out this post today on X trying to explain and justify all this money. And they had the audacity to post this. No, this is different. We're a professional subscription service. And the reason that they subscribe, the reason we're taking your hard-earned tax dollars is because it makes the government better at their job. I mean, I couldn't write this stuff. Excuse me? Say what? What in God's name are you talking about? So I love Trump posting this too, by the way. He posted this in regard to the he posted this on Truth Social to the NCAA changing their policy. The ink's not even dry. The world, you get this feeling, by the way, my fellow Americans, my fellow global citizens in Nez Nation, is it just you, or do you just get this feeling that America is respected again? Am I the only one? Let me know in the comments. Do you feel like America's getting respected again. Like, I mean, I kept putting myself in the mind of Xi Jinping. How the hell do you say his name? President of China. I kept putting myself in the mind of a Kim Jong Un, the Ayatollahs, Vladimir Putin, and they see Weekend at Bernie's Vegetable and Chief Biden, who can't remember where he is half the time. And you've got a VP who is the ultimate DEI pick. By the way, the White House admitted that verbatim. They said, this is our ultimate DEI pick. And I just kept thinking to myself, it's bad enough that we have to see this every day. It's bad enough that we're getting stooped by this awful, egregious, dark, anti-American regime of Biden Harris. But can you just imagine what the rest of the world is thinking? How embarrassing the United States have become? I believe with every fiber of my being that there's no way. I believe President Trump. By the way, here's another sincere question. When was the last time the Hippocrats doubted Trump and they were right? When was the last time that happened? I mean, everything Trump said is absolutely correct. Everything he said has come true. I truly believe October 7th would have never happened if we had real leadership, because everything starts with leadership. I truly believe with every fiber of my being, the Ayatollahs of Iran would have never had the gumption and the balls to attack Israel. And that whole bedlam that happened in the Middle East, I think would have never happened. It's just, it's absolute insanity. Yes, exactly, Waylon. Thank you, Waylon Jennings. I love your name. Thank you for the $10 super chat. All this winning, and it's only been just over 2 weeks. Imagine where we'll be in a year. God, I love the way you said that. I love the way you said that. Absolutely. We're winning like we never have before. It's just absolutely phenomenal. Just love it. James McDaniel, holy mackerel. What's a CRC? I don't know what that is. Thank you so much, James. I really appreciate that. Phil Apodaca says we're back. Kathy, congratulations on 4 months. Thank you, Jim Barron. Thank you, PG13 for the $2 super chat. Jim Barron in the house. Thank you, Laura. Welcome all new members. You guys rock. I feel like we have respect back again. Trump says exciting news. Due to my executive order, which I proudly signed yesterday, the NCAA has officially changed their policy of allowing men in women's sports. It is now banned. This is a great day for women and girls across our country. Men should have never have been allowed to compete against women in the first place, but I am proud to be the president to save women's sports. We expect the Olympics Committee to also use common sense and implement this policy, which is very popular among the American people and the entire world. Yes, Crispin, you're absolutely right. We got our balls back. The same balls that built the greatest country that ever come to existence is back in office. It's the same balls that built this country. Thank you for saying that. I love the way you said that. Historic large tax cuts. We also, I mean, for crying out loud, so it's only been 2 weeks, and not only has he secured the southern border, I mean, it's a 95% drop in border crossings, which is essentially saying, you know, there's some miscellaneous kind of red tape and administrative things that they need to get that number back to 100. But it's essentially secured. The border is secure. Saved women's sports, secured the border, cut wasteful spending by the federal government, signed all these executive orders, took us out of the WHO, which is a complete fraud, cut the funding to USAID, and then now, just breaking, okay, and then now he puts all NGOs on notice, right? So he puts all NGOs on notice, and he essentially says that we're going to cut funding. He signed an executive order requiring an audit of every single NGO to find out where this just happened. This is breaking news. Where is all that funding coming from? As you know, Biden gave billions to these NGOs, right? And Trump just said enough is enough. We're done. He's doing everything right. Everything. Some more top stories that I'd like to share with you. I don't know if you saw this or not, but Congresswoman who is a giant embarrassment, who she talked about Elon Musk. She was one of these insane lunatics in front of the USAID building and trying to basically incite. I mean, I don't know how you don't call these guys insurrectionists. I say that they are committing acts of sedition. I truly believe that. She was one of the staunch protesters saying, you know, Elon Musk is a nepo baby, a narcissist nepo baby. And she's going viral right now with this video because she's an absolute, I mean, embarrassment to our country. But let me know if you guys saw this or not. Ayanna Presley is her name. And she goes on a racist rant about Iowa being too white. Though this is during a congressional hearing. I don't know who is voting. I mean, help me out, America. How are we voting for people like Jasmine Full of Crockett? How are we voting? How are we voting for people like Daniel Goldman, who's committing treason? I'm going to talk about that in just a second, too. How are we voting for people like Chris Murphy, a spineless, feckless, ballsless, emasculated, gelatinous piece of gunk? How are we voting for these? How is Ratty Raskin? I mean, he's such a rat. He's a nasty person, quite frankly, probably one of the nastiest people out there. But he's not like Professor Nez, all right? You know, he's not like Professor Nez. Professor Nez is a great guy. Really, he's a good-looking guy, too. Quite frankly, probably the best-looking YouTuber and political commentator out there. I love him. We watch him all the time late at night with Melania when we're trying to get rid of Tren de Aragua. And the thing about Professor Nez is he's not from China. Thank you, Mr. President. I love you. So if you haven't seen this, Ayanna Presley, a giant embarrassment. I mean, just a complete abomination. I'm going to share this right now, going on a complete wild racist rant, saying that Iowa has too many white people. I mean, what in the world is going on in our lives right now? Like, how is this a reality? Somebody help me out. Okay, I'm going to share this. I'm going to share this right now so you guys can check this out. I mean, I don't know who's voting for these people. These people, I mean, enough is enough. For the love of God, give me a break. Okay, here she is, going on a ridiculous rant.
Like Iowa. Governor Reynolds, let's learn more about the state. Do you know what percentage of Iowans are white and what percentage are Black?
I don't know the exact percentages. No, we're by far a larger percentage of white population.
That's correct. Iowa is 90%
yeah.
white and only 4.5% Black. So that is drastically different from the national population. So when Republicans suggest Iowa should be a national model, they're advocating for a government that doesn't reflect our country. So let's talk about what this model.
I mean, what are you saying? I don't know what you're saying. I mean, there's people who are living in snow tents in North Carolina. Why is it they always make everything about race? It's so funny. The people who complain the most about race are the ones who keep bringing it up and making every single issue revolve around it. You're perpetuating the same thing that you claim that you're so against. You're the ones who keep making everything about race, not anybody else. I mean, I think there's racism out there. Yes, I think there's racists out there. Of course there are, but it's far few in between. It's definitely not the majority. Are you kidding me? 90% of people are good, people. They just want to do their thing, take care of their family, earn a decent living, go on a few vacations, hang out, relax, mind their own business. That's 90% of people. Why are you using the least common denominator in society as the sort of flagship for every issue that you aim to bring forth? This is a business. It's like BLM. BLM, people make a business of complaining of things that don't warrant any complaints. They really don't. They're conjuring up things that don't exist. And I just don't understand how this person is elected. Who elected this individual? It's absolute insanity to me. So speaking of Representative Dan Goldman, so there is obviously, this guy is a complete cretin. I have to share this with you. This guy is one of the worst human beings out there. It is obvious that the Chinese have sent over so many of their worst people, and they've sent over a lot of their criminals and terrorists, et cetera, et cetera. And there's definitely no shortage of that. Evidence shows that. ICE statistics, Border Patrol. We have Chinese murderers and spies and criminals who have entered our country illegally on multiple occasions. There's no doubt to that. This is back at June 20th, 2024. You can see Chinese migrant wanted for LA murder, brazenly tries to sneak back into the US, finally gets caught. So this is something that is an issue, and this is what we're trying to rectify. This is what Tom Homan, this is what President Trump, this is what we elected them to do, to fix all of this. If you don't know about this, okay, if you don't know about this, this snake cretin Dan Goldman is actually teaching, okay, actually teaching these illegal criminal migrant Chinese, actually teaching, okay, these illegal criminal migrant Chinese how to evade. He says, before I play this video, he says every New Yorker has rights when they interact with immigration enforcement. So I don't know that much about this guy other than he is such a weasel. It's so weird how all the so-called men, they're so effeminate. All the men in the Democrat Party, they're just these real pencil-pushing, bureaucratic, I don't know, like they've been bullied in high school so much. This is their way of exacting revenge, is to be so anti-American, to be so blatantly ballsless and emasculate. It's so strange to me. They're taking it out on us. Like, it's not my fault that you didn't get along with your father, or it's not my fault that you've got about as much testosterone, as a corpse. It's not my fault, but you're taking it out on us. This guy is literally committing treason. He's teaching Chinese illegal migrants how to interact with immigration, essentially teaching them how to avoid getting deported. This is an elected official, okay? This should make every American's blood boil. You're not going to see this on CNN. You're not going to see this on CBS or NBC or ABC. But I will tell you right now, this makes me sick to my stomach, and it should make you sick to your stomach as well. I'm going to share with you this clip right here, and I want you to make it go viral. I want you to share this with everybody that you know, because this is important. What he is doing right here is essentially treason. Okay, this right here is treason. Okay, listen to this.
The Trump administration has carried out deportations, raids all across the country, including here in New York City. These are certainly uncertain times, but no matter what, it's important that you know your rights when interacting with law enforcement. In all circumstances, you have the right to remain silent And in most cases, ICE cannot search you or your things without your consent. In all circumstances, you have the right to videotape the officers so long as you don't interfere with their work. If an immigration officer comes to your door, you do not have to open it. Always ask if they have a judicial, court-ordered arrest warrant. If an immigration officer comes to your place of work, you do not have to answer their questions. If ICE begins to search your things, you should say that you do not consent to a search. And if you are taken into custody, you have the right to remain silent and the right to an attorney. You have the right to call your friends, family, community, and any lawyers. Ensure that you have an emergency contact and memorize their phone number.
Okay, one quick, unbelievable fun fact, which I don't think any of you guys are going to find surprising. Mr. Representative Daniel Goldman here voted against the Laken Riley Act. The Laken Riley Act was legislation that said it was required to deport any illegal migrant who commits a felony, a criminal act on American soil towards Americans. And this piece of garbage voted no. And now he's helping Chinese immigrant criminal illegal terrorists who Biden and Harris led into our country. Now he's helping them, like pro bono law advice on what to do if ICE approaches them. And the only thing that I can say about vermin like this, and I know you have your staffers, Representative Goldman, because staffers from all your guys' offices watch my show because there's nobody better. That's why you're here. And I always give the unvarnished truth, and I hold your asses accountable, as it should be. What is wrong with you? Why are you so opposed to helping actual, real Americans? An even better question. Why do you help those who injure Americans, even though you're supposed to be representing American citizens? Why do you give all your energy, time, vitality, every ounce of what you have in your emasculated fembot body? Why do you put all your resources and energy towards invaders, towards non-Americans, non-citizens, criminals, migrants, illegals, instead of actually protecting Americans? Why? I'm just curious. Does anybody know why? It doesn't make an ounce of sense to me. It's like the same thing is, why is, Jasmine Full of Crockett and Maxine Klingon Waters and Dave Min? God, you want to talk Dave Min? I mean, Dave Min, he's from my home state, California. I mean, what a sackless, ballsless, manless, effeminate, gargamel piece of useless phlegm Dave Min is. Why are they all the same? Why are you so against us finding out what you're doing with our tax dollars? Imagine if they just put a molecule of that energy towards actually helping us. So it's bad enough that they're not supporting Trump. It's bad enough, who, by the way, has the mandate from the American people. So he represents us. We literally voted for everything that he's doing and executing right now as we speak. Everything that he's done so far since he took oath, we all voted for that. He's been talking about having Elon Musk be the head of government efficiency since the very beginning. We all voted for this. So your tired ass, coordinated, orchestrated talking points don't work. It's the same thing that handed you the big, gigantic L in 2024. It's bad enough that you don't support the American people, because if you don't support Trump, you don't support the American people. That's a fact. Okay? That's a fact. But the fact that you're actually doing everything in your power to stop, impede, blockade the American people, the will of the American people, actually going out of your way to do the exact opposite. It's one thing to be like, okay, I don't support Trump. I don't like him. I'm not going to, entertain him. I'm not going to even bother. But you're not even doing that, which is bad enough. You're actually doing the opposite, going out of your way to stop the will of the American people. I want everybody watching, especially you Goldman staffers, I want everybody watching, do a little soul searching, for crying out loud. You need to make some phone calls. You need to write to this vermin's office and be like, how dare you give free legal advice to criminal, illegal Chinese terrorist migrants in our country on how to evade, speak, and not get deported, which is what the American people want. You need to be held to the fire. You need to be held accountable. Not only should you be expunged from Congress, but I think you should. This is an act of sedition. This is treason. You should be held in contempt, and you should face prosecution to the fullest extent of the law. Who's with me? Let me know in the comments. Who's with me? I mean, give me a break. Give me a freaking break. If you're just joining us, President Trump just laid out a plan for the largest tax cut in history for middle class, all of us pretty much, working class Americans. And I talked about this at the top of the show, but really quickly, no tax on tips, no tax on senior Social Security, no tax on overtime pay, renewed Trump's middle class tax cuts in 2017, adjusting the SALT cap, eliminating all special tax breaks for billionaire sports teams owners, closes the carried interest tax deduction loophole, and a major tax cut for made in America products. Did you know that this was made in America? Made in America, USA Original Nez Nation merch. Get yours right now. Pin comment, description, or just go to professornez.com/merch. The link is right here. You can go to professornez.com/merch, and you'll see that right there. Dan Goldman, you should face a tribunal. Okay, Kamala Harris. Kamala, you're as dumb as a doorknob. Quite frankly, probably one of the dumbest doorknobs out there. I agree, Mr. President. Kamala Harris, did you guys see this? This is insane. Kamala Harris's edited 60 Minutes interview. Holy mackerel. Thank you, Andres. I don't know what ARS is. Hey, Nez, loving everything. Argentina left the World Health. Yeah, Milei. I love Milei. Fell into communism and it won't shut down water because they're. Thank you so much, Andres. I appreciate you. D-Lad, you're amazing because it's a Marxist principle. Divide. Exactly. Thank you, D-Lad. Tijuana border jumper. Orale vato. What's up, ani? Jasmine Croc, full of. Yes, thank you. Tijuana border jumper. You're amazing. When I crossed the Tijuana border today, the Mexican National Guard was stopping mostly cars with Mexico plates. I was pleasantly surprised. And the CBP told me they appreciated the assistance. Thank you, Tijuana border jumper. Oh, God, that's hilarious. That's awesome. I love it. So Kamala Harris this is crazy. So I don't know if you saw this or not, but this, and by the way, Trump actually spoke on this. This deserves, I think, some kind of litigation, if not full-on lawsuit. But actually, Trump talked about this. So the 60 Minutes interview that Kamala did. Also, Joe Rogan talked about, which was really, really cool. Joe Rogan talked about his failed attempt at getting Kamala on an interview, which was really, really good, by the way. But so Donald J. Trump, our president, posted this recently on Truth Social saying CBS and 60 Minutes defrauded the public by doing something which has never to this extent been seen before. They 100% removed Kamala's horrible election-changing answers to questions and replaced them with completely different and far better answers taken from another part of the interview. So CBS, ABC, David Muir, NBC, MSNBC, all of them, Joe, Smoking Joe, whatever the hell his name is, Joe Scarborough, Morning Joe. I don't watch any of those guys. I sometimes do for work because it's my job to give you the truth. CNN, all of them. So they all engage in election interference. This right here is one of the most blatant. We all know that they're fake. We all know they're fake news. We all know they're fraudulent. We all know they're charlatans. But this right here that came out, the FCC just released this excerpt. And 60 Minutes never aired it. But she was stumped when she'd asked how she would pay for her plans. And then once the camera stopped rolling, she admitted that our taxes would go up. So I'm going to share this. You got to see this. This is absolutely, wow, we dodged a bullet, folks. We really, really dodged a bullet. So check this out right here. Watch this.
Madam Vice President, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Bill. Good to be with you.
Well, can we just get just a little bit of a question, please, so I can get it from the shoulder shot?
Yeah.
1 second. Just a second. Okay, thank you.
You need me talking?
Yes, sir.
Well, we were talking about how you're going to pay for it. And I mean, I truly do mean it. Your plans are logical, make logical sense. The way Washington works is not logical. So how are you going to convince a divided Congress that what you say, your plans, are something that they should all agree to and provide to the American people when they've shown no inclination to do that up to this point?
Is that what you needed?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. 30 seconds of silence, please, for each time. Cameras are off.
How will you?
It's going to be taxes. It's going to be literally, if the economists, I mean, they're from each spectrum.
But I hear what you're saying
Yeah.
about the economists. This is true.
Yeah.
But Congress is not the economists.
I know, but
So you heard that the camera cut, okay? The camera cut, and so she gave a different answer on the air. Then as soon as the camera's cut, then she says, oh yeah, it's going to be taxes for sure. I mean, taxes are going to go up. That's the only way we're going to be able to pay for it. Like, she was lying, and she gave a different edited answer, right, on air. And now imagine if that was Trump. And you guys all remember the interview that Leslie Stahl did with Trump, where they made him look abominable. I think that was back in 2020, if memory serves me correctly. And thank God Trump did not accept. I think Trump denied 60 Minutes an interview. But imagine if that was Trump. Imagine how much outrage you would see on the radical extreme left. They would be talking about it nonstop all over CNN, ABC, MSNBC. It would be all over the airwaves. And they would say, see, he can't answer this. See, he's lying. See, he's this. This is election interference. We still won. Can you believe it? We still won. But this is election interference of the most dishonorable, cheating, lying way. It is nothing less than election interference. And so I hope, my hope is that Trump actually does sue, or do something. I don't know. What do you guys think that Trump should do? He says this was election-changing stuff, election interference, and quite simply, you can just hear him saying it. This is election-changing stuff. Quite frankly, election fraud at a level never seen before. CBS should lose its license. Yeah, it should lose it, quite frankly. And the cheaters at 60 Minutes should all be thrown out. And this disreputable, big capital letters, quote unquote, news should be immediately terminated. With the new Democrat scandal that just arose with respect to USAID illegally paying large sums of money to Politico and other media outlets, the question must be asked, was CBS paid for committing this fraud? Many other questions to come. This will go down as the biggest broadcasting scandal in history. I mean, it's hard to argue with him because if she would have won, I mean, elections have consequences, folks. As much, I'm sure you guys did as well. We all felt the concrete consequences of what's happened over the last 12 of the last 16 years with Obama and that small respite of Trump getting in there. But I think it's fair to say, and I think he would agree with me, it was a shell shock to him when he first won. I don't think he expected to win. I think he listened to a lot of the wrong people. He didn't understand the way Washington works as an entrepreneur and businessman of amazing note. He didn't understand the bureaucracy. He didn't understand the sort of way to navigate the highways and byways of Washington. He's much, much more accomplished now, experienced now. Providence is on his side. God is there. And he's getting things done like we've never seen before. Like we've never seen before. It's amazing. I love it. But we've seen it. So when he says, I don't think he's being hyperbolic when he says one of the greatest, if not the greatest, broadcasting scandals in history. I completely agree, as a matter of fact, because it's most egregious. It's absolutely awful. Okay, I want to give some shout outs to some amazing human beings. Jim Barron, thank you so much. Laura Tilford, thank you so much. Jim Barron, you guys are the best. Thank you, Bill Hound Show. I'd just like to see a smiling face by yours. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. PG-13, the Bill Hound Show. Phil Apodaca, congratulations on 3 months. Jim Barron, you're amazing. I love you, man. Kathy, congratulations. James McDaniel, you rock. Waylon Jennings, thank you. Tijuana Border Jumper, thank you so much. I appreciate you. D-Lad, thank you so much. Andreas, Mountain Goddess, MG, Professor Nez, can you replay that video? The volume too low. Thank you. You know what? It's the actual source of the video. It's not me, but essentially she said taxes. She said the only way I'm going to pay for it is taxes. So he asked her a question and she gave a different answer. And they were doing kind of a setup shot, like an over-the-shoulder shot. And then as soon as the camera cut and they were off the air, then he said, so how would you do it? And she says, well, it's going to be taxes. But she didn't say that on air. She didn't say that on air. That's the point. Thank you so much, Useful Idiot. This is why I think the Supreme Court should decide what the rules are for Congress, both houses, and what he said was lies because they're not citizens. Thank you so much, Useful Idiot. I love your channel name. So again, just to recap really quickly, if you're just joining us, the largest tax cut in American history for middle-class working Americans, no tax on tips, no tax on senior citizens, Social Security, no tax on overtime. That's huge. He's renewing all of Trump's middle-class tax cuts from 2017. He's adjusting the SALT cap, eliminating all special tax breaks for billionaire sports teams owners, closed the carried interest tax deduction loophole, and a major tax cut for any product made in America. Let's go. This is history. This is absolutely history. I love you guys so much. You know, your boy Nez is always going to keep you in the loop, always going to keep you abreast of all the latest, everything that the woke propagandist media will not share with you. Our mission is to make common sense go viral, to combat all the scandalous, egregious lies that come from the radical left. So please make sure you tap the thumbs up. If you love your country, tap that thumbs up. It doesn't cost you a thing. Sign up for our free newsletter in the pinned comment, show notes, and description. Don't forget to check out these other videos that I posted today coming up on the screen. Make sure you follow, subscribe, and as always, may God bless you and may God